Raja. Hey Vishal, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you so much for joining us on this ongoing series of the trends and outlook of healthcare industry. We're delighted to have you with us. Uh, you had a phenomenal career of more than 20 years now, right, in the hearing aid industry. And you're the second generation entrepreneur. Your father started it. You've shared in the sort of 50-year legacy. We certainly would love to hear more from you on your background. How does this started? How's it evolved? I know you moved from a clinical based business to a more experiential sort of business. So would love to hear from you before we jump into the questions on your journey.
Thank you, Vishal. I'd been a second generation entrepreneur. My father started this space and he started working in the space in 1977.
Right.
So when he started working, this industry was very fragmented. In fact, there was nothing existing called a hearing care centers. He used to travel across the length and breadth of India,
Right.
and sit out of a hotel room and meet all the ENTs and local practitioner and do his own style of marketing to pull in people on a specific date and time to that specific location. So he sits there for a day, he meets the people over there and attends to their hearing care need, and he moves out of that location.
Right.
Probably he gets to visit the same place after a month or 40 days. That's how his cycle used to work. Fast forward, he started consolidating the same work only in the United Andhra Pradesh. In 2006, I finished my master's in audiology.
Right.
And then had aspirations of doing my doctorate in audiology, but then looked at what my father was doing, then had a little bit of interest to understand and explore that space. So started working along with him in that model. For about 6 months into that model, I realized that this is not something which I would be able to continue because first thing is having a professional background. I really felt that the place where he's attending to the consumers, it's not a fully controlled environment. I got my degree from one of the pioneer institute where all the international standards are being maintained while doing the diagnosis. The professional within me didn't really like what was happening. Second thing is it was quite tedious.
Yeah.
Because it has to be like morning to evening in one particular location, then we have to pack our bags and go to another location and meet those people. Third thing, I saw a lot of unrest among the people because hearing care is not a simply off the shelf kind of a service. It needs a lot of attention. When somebody takes a device, unlike spectacles, you just look for your power, start wearing it, and you get used to it.
Yeah.
Hearing care is far more complex than a spectacle because it involves a different type of instrumentations within. The signals are also very complex. We need to attend to their needs quite frequently until they completely get used to that journey. But the challenge was, since he was traveling and he was only meeting them after a month, there was a lot of unrest among the people. They get the access to the hearing care, but they are not really able to adapt to that services. I realized that this is not really working well. I requested him to help me make a clinic, and we chose a city called Kakinada in Andhra Pradesh to start my first venture. That's where I started my career, and I started having a very professional setup, a full-time setup where people can come in during the day and get their problems addressed. And we were meeting a lot of new customers coming in with a different set of problem in and around Kakinada, and things went on really well.
Yeah.
After a year's time, then I moved to Hyderabad, started my second venture. And
Yes, I was.
no, it's Hearing Solutions. It's still a clinic. This was in 2009. We moved here and we started the second venture, and I was meeting a lot of consumers over here, and we were making many life better with the hearing care services. Then that's when one of my mentor from the OEM supplier, Siemens Hearing Instruments back there, he asked, "What is your vision, Raja?" At a very young age, very naive, I was trying to tell that anybody who looks for a hearing aid in Andhra Pradesh should think about hearing solutions. Right? They should come to us so that we'll be able to cater to their. Then he said, "No, you're having a very narrow vision. You should think India or beyond India also." I thought he's, as a mentor, he's motivating me to think big. But then the next question was so important. He said, do you know what you should do to achieve that? I was a little clueless. I was looking at his advice. Then he said, Raja, if that is your vision, then you should start working on the business and not in the business. You should be creating a team who can replicate what you do with your own client and make sure that this goes in the right direction. It was a big eye opener. And for a person like me and my father, which is a traditionally family owned business, considering someone outside the family coming into this business and I tried to do that. And that was a little uh, difficult choice. But then I told that he's my mentor, and I was really looking forward to his advice and took things very seriously when he said and started working on it and started building a team. So, and that's how the journey of hearing solutions started, which multiplied from 2 to 4, then 8. By 2013, we realized that this is becoming big. Now we need to attract more talent. We also need funding. That time we were not too much aware about this institutional funds. We were only thinking that a loan from bank would be ideal for us to help to expand our business. For that, we need to have a more structured business organization. We were having a proprietorship concern. We combined it and made it as a private limited company in 2013. In 2018, we were already having 25 clinics in Andhra Pradesh. That's when we realized that should we keep adding more clinics like this, or should we do something different to relook at this industry, how the service delivery model has to happen. Because if I have to broadly divide this industry into two segments, one is the manufacturing side, the other one is the delivery side. We are working on the delivery side. On the manufacturing side, I have seen my father dealing with pocket model hearing aids, the big box with a wire, which used to dangle, and people used to wear that and move around, which eventually got miniaturized. Then the digital technology came in and people started using all those things. There is a uh, quantum leap on the manufacturing side. The technology side, there was a quantum leap. But on the delivery side, if I actually look into what had happened, a hotel room kind of a dispensing moved into a more modern setup. Otherwise, the rest of the process remained the same. How do we really want to differentiate on the service delivery side? That was my main idea. Around the same time, I also wanted to take a little break and go to IIM Calcutta to do my program in business leadership, which also helped me to relook at this industry and see how we can do things better. That's when we realized that we, if we have to do something bigger and move across multiple locations, because Andhra Pradesh was a home ground for us. So we were having our legacy, had a good kind of a support system here. But if I have to replicate the same, scale the same thing in different states, there are people like us sitting there. We need to go there with a differentiating factor. Just not be one among the other 10. That's when we realized we need to really rework on the delivery model. Then taking clues from similar industries like spectacles, vision care, how things have really moved. I know when I was young, for my father, then we went into an ophthalmologist. There was a place under a steps. It's a corner place with a small glass box with few frames and few lenses kept. And that's how spectacles used to be dispensed. Over time, things moved and it became like a fashion industry. So hearing care technically is not too different.
How did you take influence from some of the other industries or segments in healthcare? But the journey from whatever 4 clinics you said, and now you got 160 clinics.
160 plus.
That's been a phenomenal journey. We would certainly want to get more insights and hear more from you on the industry. We got Sunil also with us, who's a managing director in the Hyderabad practice. We would love to hear more from you in terms of how did that scale up happen and how do you see the industry? The first question that I can ask is, over the years, you've said everything is evolved, right? Things you realize that the opportunity is big.
Yes.
You also realize that if you have to be there and take the opportunity, or it'll be different.
It's true.
In terms of the hearing aid industry, maybe if you can tell a bit more about it, because today the industry is largely sort of delivery based. We don't have manufacturing setups. Yeah. So happy to hear from you the influence between the optical and some of the other areas. How do you see the industry evolve over the last 10, 12 years, or 2 decades that you've been there? And where do you see next 5 years?
If I have to start talking about this industry, first we need to talk about the opportunity available.
Yeah.
India being a country known for its growing population.
Yeah.
Uh, we have roughly an estimate of 63 million people with disabling hearing loss in India.
Right.
This is a data given by WHO.
Yeah.
Now, if we see out of the 63 million people, hardly 1% of the people use a hearing instrument. So the penetration rate is around 1% or probably less than a percentage of that's what the condition today. I see a huge possibility, a huge opportunity here that people start adopting to this solution.
Is it a stigma thing, or is it more of a
Exactly. So
awareness?
there are four major impeding factors which is not allowing this penetration to go beyond what it is today. The first one is awareness. Along with it, stigma is also a major concern. The second thing is accessibility. And the last thing is affordability. We call it internally in our company as the 3 A's: awareness, accessibility, and affordability as the three most impeding factor. Of course, stigma also plays a big role in a country which is quite conscious about how others look. So these three are the major impeding factors, and uh, if the important stakeholders are not working towards this direction, then there is no way this penetration rate can go up. That's why we have taken it as our vision and mission to work towards these 3 areas. Awareness. Unlike vision care, today, if you get up in the morning and you start looking at the newspaper, and if you can't read a line, you don't need a third person to come and say that you have a problem, because you already know that you can't read it. It's a self-diagnosis. But when you're sipping your coffee, if somebody is calling you from behind and if you can't hear, you are not knowing, that's why you're not responding. That first step itself is lost. In vision care, you get the first notification that I'm not able to read. Yeah. In hearing care, you don't know. That's why you're not responding. Suppose that some other person from home comes and tells that I called you and not responded. We will give 100 reasons. Oh, I was busy looking at this. Oh, I didn't hear. Probably you didn't speak. So this is what we try to tell. So hearing, unfortunately, because of the nature of the problem, doesn't get the same level of attention, or the quicker diagnosis doesn't happen. The moment if someone is willing to amplify their voice, your problem is solved. So the problem is with them because they have to now speak loud. That's how hearing takes a little max age. Yes. The data suggests that it is approximately taking 7 to 8 years for an individual with the onset of hearing problem. They take 7 to 8 years to reach out for their first consultation with any professional. That's the time they delay until they feel that now it is not uh, something which I'll be able to manage. It's become a need for me. Or somebody from the family feels that I will not be able to communicate with this person. I need to somehow get him some solution. This is the time duration. Awareness is a huge problem. The problem here is
You think one is awareness, and the other is acceptance, right?
one, accessibility.
No, but on acceptance statements point of view, on status point that we talked about,
Yes, yes.
people, even if they get to know about it, it's also about, do I accept that I have a hearing problem? Is that also an issue?
It's quite funny, even when I meet a lot of customers who are coming in with the same kind of thought process. I say, no, I don't want to look with a hearing aid when somebody feels that I have a hearing problem. I said, your problem is more visible than the solution. Today, we have very small devices which can get inside your ear and it hardly is visible.
Yeah.
But if you don't use one, you're not going to respond. You're going to ask them for a dedication, or you're going to say, can I hear? That's becoming more visible than the solution.
Right.
Somebody has to tend this, motivate them. Family plays a major role in this. They need to also motivate. I think uh, with the technology development, that acceptance can be really worked upon faster, because today miniaturization custom hearing aids which can go hide inside your ear. Well designed ones are there. It's just the biggest problem is awareness. They are not really knowing it, and they take endless time. The first time when they come to really know about it, they are in a denial mode. They only see the top line problem, which is they're not responding to somebody's call. The underlying problem is there is so many other medical conditions linked to hearing care. For example, how does our brain get activated through different stimulus? We see something as a visual, we get some information to our brain. Hearing also gives a lot of stimulus to our brain. When we hear sound, it gets activated in our brain. We recognize where the sound is coming from, who is calling us, depending on the voice. There's a memory to it. When that is not activated, slowly that goes to a rest. And in most cases, it's linked to dementia. People at a very late stage understand that just because they delayed the treatment towards their hearing care, they just don't stop with hearing problem. They also lead to a dementia, which can lead to stress, making themselves ice because they know that I can't participate in a home environment when I keep talking to people. So they try to refrain themselves in their room, which kind of secludes themselves, and psychologically also it impacts. There is so many connection problems to hearing. That's what people are missing.
The impact is people are not underestimating the impact
Exactly.
it can have.
You did mention about dementia and things which could be a little more serious. But when you see from the overall awareness, how the healthcare sector is moving into awareness, from the hearing care perspective, do you see that more can be done in terms of definitely trying to, like a master health checkup? This normally never covers an ear. True, it covers the other parts of it. But the more awareness can also come in from those angles. What are your thoughts on that?
While I say that the awareness still has to go really leaps and bounds ahead from where we stand today, but it has also improved from where we were 5 years or 10 years back. There is a lot of traction towards awareness, and it's also important for different stakeholders in the industry and like companies like Here's App. There are many other companies. If we all start working on creating that kind of attention towards this hearing challenge, it will fast catch up to the gap. And Master Health Checkup today, I see many have started adopting to it. Hearing has also become, even for an employment kind of like somebody who's going to work for a BPO, naturally they need to have a hearing checked up. Most of the things are slowly coming up. The biggest thing is infant hearing screening program. That's a huge gap which we used to have earlier. Now, at least on the private side, people have started including that infant hearing screening program as part of their basic test. Problem is, we will not be able to know whether the infant is born with a hearing problem. Only when the child is not speaking, we realize that the child is not hearing. That's why the child is not speaking, because speaking is a form of stimuli, elicit a response for what they hear. If they don't get any input, they won't give an output. That's when there are many children who are born with hearing a problem and undiagnosed, goes into different categories of delayed speech and hearing, all those kind of challenges. The traction is there, but meetings like this, media, we need to all do an advocacy towards this and make sure that it reaches to the population who is really in need of that.
Now, when you talk about accessibility, is there a dearth of audiologists?
Yes.
You keep talking to people where there's a lot of audiologists who leave the country. Is there a way that problem is being solved for? Because you need, one is awareness, the other is also people accepting it. Now, people will accept it if they hear from the doctor.
Yes.
And audiologists play
A major role.
where are we on that?
I would bring upon two important statistics.
Yeah.
It's estimated that there is one audiologist available for every 500,000 people in India. That's the statistics today. There are the good programs running in India, but there's a lot of brain happening. People are being consumed by other countries. Their audiology program is not as strong as what is there in India. People get that quick opportunity to move. When I finished, I also had a similar opportunity. But since I had some backup here, so I started working. I think still somebody who's getting into audiology, their aspiration is to see how I finish this with flying colors and just move abroad to some country and settle over there. There is definitely a parity. There is a gap. That's why the statistics is 1 is to 5 lakh people. And if I take hearing centers, I'll draw another statistic data. A country like Germany, which has a population similar to United Andhra Pradesh, here in Telangana put together, around 8-9 crore people. They have around 6,000 point of say, of the centers, 6,000 hearing centers. In India, all professional, organized, unorganized, everything put together, we are roughly having around 2,500 to 3,000. So that's the gap. For 1.4 billion, we are having 2,500 to 3,000 outlets. For 80 million, there is 6,000 outlet.
I'm sure, Raja, that is skewed between the urban and the rural again.
It's all mostly focused towards the urban side, and the rural is definitely taking the hit.
That comes to the last A that you spoke about, is affordability.
No, this is accessibility.
One is accessibility, which is audiologists being accessible
Yes.
in the tier 2, tier S cities,
Yes.
in smaller towns, which would love to hear how I be trying
So
to
how I started from a tier 3 city, Kaligara. So I understood the dynamics of how that market started working. Then moved to Hyderabad. But we always kept a good mixture of going into tier 2, tier 3. Today we have 160 point of the center for the care, which is spread across 10 states and 70 cities and towns. The split is between metro, tier 2, tier 3, and even underserved regions also. Right. To also help more penetration and more accessibility, we developed our in-house teleaudiology tools. The advantage of this tool is we know that there is a problem in front of us. There's less number of audiologists. Yeah. But we need to really give the service to many others. So we wanted to make this omni-channel customer engagement program. We started developing a concept called the feet on streets. Right. There'll be trained people with a full audiology kit. Yeah. They will be going to the consumer's place, sit there in a point environment. We developed the noise cancellation headphone and a web-based audiometry. Okay. So this person goes and does the initial discussion with the client, fills in some form, and then they look for an available audiologist online. Those audiologists who are in our network and who are free at that point in time, who can also speak the similar language of that customer, they will take access to that. They control the person's laptop, right? The facilitator's laptop, remote. They might be sitting in our centers in either corporate office or each of our hearing centers. They will be sitting there and they will be conducting this test. They are trained people. We call them fleet on streets. They will go with the basic knowledge about hearing care, how to put the headphones, how to give them an instruction. And then when this Astos is connected, why the audiologist, once the system is connected, there is a video box which opens into it so that the audiologist can see the customer on the other side along with the facilitator. They conduct the test in tandem with all these three parties involved. We did our research, these white papers to say that this is quite equivalent to how tests being conducted within a soundproof.
Is this a device that they carry with it?
It's a laptop. It's a web-based audiometry laptop with a noise cancellation headphone and few devices for them to show them how a hearing aid would look like. And if they have a problem that they need a solution. If you identify that they have a problem, they also need to get the solution. So they also carry some hearing aids with them. And that is also being connected remotely and then programmed to their required. Teleaudiology is also solving this accessibility problem. We have also started working with similar audiology groups these are regional players where we don't have presence. We try to tell them that we will empower you with all our systems and tools so you can work in tandem with that's called as POCO, partner owned company operated model. We also have our own company owned, company operated. It's a combination of these two put together. We have 160. Our aim is to take it to 300 by 2027 so that we address a large number of accessibility issues with this, along with our Fleet on Street team as well.
Before we move to the next question, Raja, can we just get your views on the last A, on the affordability?
Yeah. This is the A which we have limited access to work upon. Technologies are mostly coming from the Western world. We have to heavily depend on technologies coming from there. And if you actually see, these technologies are made for the Western world because their consumers are the Western world. I think if the penetration becomes a little better than what it is today, if we can grow a in-house demand, then I think it's not that there's no one manufacturing in India. There are few companies, but these are very I wouldn't really compare it to what is being made in the Western world.
So 99%, 89% are imported. Whoever is manufacturing, it's not a very significant.
Because there's no that kind of a demand being generated from here. If you see, again, drawing lines to some parallels like vision care, people used to import from different countries, be it the Western world or China initially. And once they see that the local market is sizable, that's when they start putting their infrastructure to develop that. That's when it makes sense also. Why the Western world is doing this? Because their penetration is high, because it is covered under the insurance. People don't shy away from wearing a hearing aid. There is no stigma. Awareness is high, penetration is high, accessibility is high. That's why there is a huge demand and people spend their R&D and develop.
Affordability will continue to remain an issue for some time, till the time you have that scale to manufacture.
Exactly.
Or till the time we get support from insurance companies or government schemes.
What we try to do to solve is within our limited resource is when we moved to a considerably decent size in the number of units, we went directly to the manufacturer and started talking with them and trying to see if we can cut down few channels in between. We went to one of the global manufacturer called Demand. They are probably the largest hearing aid manufacturing company in the world. When we met them and said that this is what it is, if we have this, the kind of volumes we have and the future opportunities, the kind of opportunity what is available, when we tried to explain them, then they said, okay, we can probably send the Philips hearing instruments directly to us by cutting down the middleman. We can make this Philips hearing aid a little more affordable to the people. And after our funding from 361 and when we started expanding, when the volumes also started ranking up, we also had the comfort to go and sit with another manufacturer called GN, which is again from a Danish manufacturing company. We told that now we want a product. We will give you the specification. This is what India would need, look like. We will give you the brand name. So we took a white label. We cut down a lot of middleman in it so that our cost had become better. We passed on the benefit to the consumers. These are the ones which we could do right now with the available volume. Once the volume goes up, maybe we can sit with them. We also have thought about talking of a production line here initially, taking the technology but in bits and pieces, break it over here, do a production line here, because these products are manufactured somewhere in Poland. The cost of manufacturing is also high because the wages are paid in an European standard. If we can bring those components and make it here, maybe we can cut down on the cost. And so those are the next steps. But the low-hanging fruit is to see how we can increase the volume so that all this can be an attractive proposition. Without more people consuming hearing aids, doing anything on that direction will not really give the benefit because we are not making it to export to other countries.
Yeah, I agree. So maybe in the interest of time, I had a point of view which I will discuss with you separately. Is financing an option for people? If it's such a big concern for people not being able to hear, and the cost is 30,000, is there a way people may consider?
Financings are available. There are some institutions which are providing the finances.
I don't know whether leasing is a practical model because it's personal. It has to be hygienic.
You did mention about affordability and what the strategies. One of the other things which a couple of other industries may have done is also to represent as an industry to the government to help cut down the duties or to get some form of a common scheme. Is that something which you think in the future would play a role?
Being a medical device, this is already exempted from duty. There is no import duty or no GST onto it because it's an exempted product from GST. So right now what we are paying is what the manufacturer is giving to us. And they have a baseline cost which they cannot go down. It comes to us and we need to keep our overheads here and then give it to the consumer. There's actually not much government is doing in between. There's no cost addition from the government side, it is the exempted product. I think financing or something on those lines, if the policy changes, like insurance benefit, for hospitalization, insurance gives benefit. For dental or optical, they don't give. This is a little more complex. Probably they consider, because if someone is not getting access to hearing care because of the cost, then it leads to lot more challenges. If he is the breadwinner, then there is a productivity loss for that family. I think as a first step, if there is an insurance support happens, policies of all insurance maker, if they can add this as a component into that insurance, then that should open up a little more. The next challenge is we have a huge number of people with hearing problem, but they don't even afford insurance. Now, for them, what to do? The next level, these kind of premium insurance are taken by premium people. They can also afford this parallel.
Like insurance covers these devices outside in other countries.
Yes, especially the Western country, not India or not Asia Pacific region. I haven't seen any other country. Australia, it is bit covered. New Zealand, Australia. Not in China, not in India.
Are the campaigns also being run into the various DPOs and KPOs or just to ensure?
So we do a lot of outreach program. We go to all these kind of places where people depend heavily on hearing. We also run a lot of campaign for the traffic constables who are constantly exposed to noise. We do campaigns at elderly home, and we do society campaigns, go to large society, set up our kiosk over there, and do a free hearing screening for them. We also do a in-house camp. We say that during this period, anybody can walk in and get a hearing test. Now our application is also made. Anybody at the comfort of their home, they can sit in their couch and get a free hearing test done just by downloading our app. There's every effort being made until it strikes that this is now disturbing me. That interest level is not catching. That's why I said I draw the line between the vision and this. If it is something related to your sight, it takes immediate attention. Hearing, although both are equally important. Yes.
For a long time,
Yes.
till the time we were afforded it.
Yes.
Okay, so maybe the last question from my side: how has access of capital from 361 helped you? While one is expanding and opening more centers,
Yes.
you can't do much on the affordability side, right? That is something you just need to.
In fact, it helped us to bridge that gap.
Maybe if we can
Yeah.
walk us through what does that helped you with?
So 2023 November, we got our Series A funding from 361. We got a 50 CR investment. So post that, our focus were into a couple of areas into business. One was definitely footprint expansion. We went the greenfield route and looked at the white spots and tried to fill those in places where we are already present so that we can consolidate better with our marketing efforts. The other thing which we also did was to look at aspirational regional players. We tried to acquire few of them and tried to make them come under this Here's a bandwagon and start giving similar level of service in those regions. One such acquisition happened last year in Bihar and Jharkhand. Usually those are the areas where the access to these kind of services were very less. With this acquisition, we pumping in some of our resources into that and having a strong team locally in Bihar and Jharkhand, we are trying to take it further ahead into those two states and also getting into Uttar Pradesh. Right. We also put a lot of attention into developing internal capacity in terms of human resource who will be able to accommodate the bigger responsibility which we are going to take. And also a decent amount of funding went into the technological enhancement side to be able to adjust and adapt to the demands which is being created.
Other than the capital, is there been any other support, or what does a VC fund like 361 bring on the table?
Right. Well, the connections which they created was quite valuable because they already have so many big names in their company and in their advisory list. We got a quick access into multiple such big corporate hospitals where they have also co-invested or they had some relationship with. So
that will be the
awareness and those stuff. They also brought in a lot of their advisory group who comes from a lot of healthcare background, right? Also helped me as a founder to take the right call to see how we can, what should be the next logical step in taking forward. It's a kind of reality check when I'm thinking, should I do this or that? I have someone on board, exactly, somebody who's quite accessible. So quickly I can call and run through my idea to see whether this can do or not. And definitely a strong institutional fund sitting behind, which also motivates a lot of consolidation in the market. The small players who are first riding, but they are not really knowing whether I should connect with them or not. So with this kind of backup, they also feel that there is some positivity moving towards.
You have a partner who believes in your conviction.
Exactly.
So it helps you to further motivate
True.
to expire.
Yes.
Excellent.
Your omni-channel presence, how does that differentiate you in the market?
Initially, if you see the cycle of hearing care, people like my father went into one place and asked everybody to come over there. And it was only available once in a month. Then slowly people like me who came and we started making hearing centers. And it became a chain concept. We replicate these centers in multiple places. The industry was catching up on only the game on numbers. How many centers do I have? And everybody was spending more and more money into decorating or making that center even more better to attract more consumers. While that was parallelly happening, we also realized that an omni-channel customer engagement is important. Taking clues from similar industry, vision care and all, where some of the companies have done a retail store concept. And then we also have fleet on street, where we can go and deliver the service at home. We also have a mobile model where they can see the available service and the products, and then they can come to us. This kind of a 360-degree approach in customer engagement and acquisition help us to differentiate. The other big thing is, a country like India, we have two set of hearing care buyers. One is the actual person who's going to use. The other one is going to gift them, or the influencer. For example, if my father has a problem, most likely I would accompany him. The job of an audiologist is not to just convince my father, they have to convince me as well, because I'm going to pay for it. If the concentration is focused on one individual, then the other gets disturbed. For example, if the audiologist believes that I'm the one who's going to pay for it, and he starts talking all technical aspects to me to convince me, I will be hooked on to the conversation. I'll be listening. My father will be left aloof. He will start counseling me, saying that I don't think I'll be able to manage all those things you're talking about. Don't invest so much money on me. I don't know how long I would live. These are the kind of scenarios which come up. On the contrary, if they start talking to them and leave me alone, then my mind starts Googling, what is this? Should I cut accounts, right? Whether I should trust them. We developed the kind of engagement which happens inside our hearing care experience center for both these parties, the father and the son, or the influencer versus the actual user. Both are being parallelly addressed so that both come onto the same level and then they decide to go for a decision. So that's a big differentiator over the other competition. This is how our omnichannel approach really helped us.
Great to get this. Excellent. So thank you so much. I think pleasure is mine. Very insightful. We really wish you all the very best. Thank you so much. What you started, I think it's hats off to you and your father to get into this journey. A lot of opportunity, but at the same time, is always need. So wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
And look forward to
staying connected. Thank you. It is very large. Thank you. Thank you so much.